The Knicks postgame show is presented by Tri-State Audi. Visit your Tri-State area Audi dealer today. The return of Julius Randle. He took a season-low 6 shots. Did get into the offense in terms of assists. Campaign 16 points in the second quarter, 18 for the game. But too much from Anthony Edwards, who goes for 36. And Minnesota, with Randle saying hello and goodbye to Jalen Brunson, blows out the Knicks tonight, 116-99. Great to have you with us, Bill Pidto, along with Wally Szczerbiak. So no Karl-Anthony Towns for the Knicks for the second straight game. Dante DiVincenzo, the former Knick, unable to play for Minnesota because of a sore toe. As I mentioned just seconds ago, Julius Randle didn't force anything.
No.
Did fill up the box score, but took only 6 shots. The issue, though, again, the opposition's ability to hit the 3-ball.
That's a big problem right now for this Knicks team. If you can't defend that 3-point shot at a high level, you're not going to win a lot of games in this league. And teams are coming into the world's most famous arena. They're shooting lights out. And the Knicks, they have a reputation now of not being a physical, stingy defensive team. The two most important statistics on a stat sheet to me: your defensive field goal percentage and your 3-point defensive field goal percentage. And right now, the Knicks are not too good in those two categories. They gave up 22 for 40, 55% from the 3-point line, and they also gave up 53% from the field overall. That has to change if this team wants to accomplish the goals that they want to accomplish. They have to get better on the defensive end of the floor. They're like 15th in the league in defensive field goal percentage and 20th in the league in 3-point field goal percentage defensively. Those two statistics have to get better, or else teams are going to come in here and they're going to beat the Knicks, because you can't rely on your offense so much to get you through games. You need to make it hard for teams to score.
Knicks have now lost 6 out of 9. Minnesota's 22 made threes, ties their season high. 55% shooting for them from downtown is their season high. And they were up by 3 after the third quarter, but they blew it wide open in the fourth quarter, 35-21. They outscored the Knicks in the final 12 minutes.
Yeah, and Knicks willed their way to keep in this game. I'll tell you, heroic efforts offensively. Campaign 18 points in 4 minutes in the first half. Jalen Brunson shot the ball very well and tried to keep the Knicks in it. But look at the looks that the Knicks are giving up. I mean, Josh Hart just doing what Josh Hart does, getting knocked around all over the place, hitting the back of the head, hitting the back of the shoulder. I mean, Knicks are getting bonged around and ping-ponged all over the place, but that's just too easy. And with no Karl-Anthony Towns, Precious Achiuwa is playing the 5. He's 6'8". He's playing the 5 in the NBA with Rudy Gobert, a defensive player of the year, a rebounding menace, a guy that just imposes his will with his size at 7'2". Great shot blocker. Anthony Edwards missed his first 6 shots of this game. It doesn't matter. He made his next 11 out of 14, and he was lights out. But I was impressed with the way Randle played. He did not force anything, did not turn the ball over. He drew double teams and found wide open shooters at the 3-point line. That team shared the ball magnificently in Minnesota, and that's why they shot that percentage.
So Minnesota makes 22 threes. The Knicks make 14 threes. Math is never my strong suit, but that's a 24-point negative for the Knicks.
Knicks shot well. They shot 42% from 3.
They're outscored by 24 points from downtown.
Right.
Can't win that way, right?
No, they have to get better at defending that 3-point line. There is no way that the Knicks can sustain not allowing teams to come in here and knock down threes at a high percentage. You cannot win at a high level in the NBA if you allow teams to make a high amount of threes and a high percentage of threes. You just can't be good enough offensively to make up for that. They have to figure out a way to defend that 3-point line.
And we're talking about Julius Randle, and he didn't force anything tonight. He seemed to defer to Anthony Edwards.
Yes.
Anthony Edwards had a huge game, 36 points.
I know. And you can tell Julius, that physicality that Julius brings on a nightly basis, I mean, he is put together at 6'9". He's a pretty impressive physical specimen out there on the floor. And Anthony Edwards is the guy that came into MSG. This is one trip to the Garden, and he absolutely lit it up. You could tell he was looking to score. I think he settles for too many threes personally, because anytime he takes to the basket, he can dunk on your head like this. He can finish with real ease. But the game comes easy to him. I mean, he looks like when he gets his head together, I mean, he looks like Michael Jordan out there. The way he moves out there on the floor, just effortless, the way he can get his shot up. I think he settles for bad shots because it's so easy for himself to create shots. But tonight, he had it going at a high level. His teammates, Naz Reid, coming off the bench, knocking down threes. This team is also big at every position. You look at the Timberwolves, they have size at every position and length at every position. That's one thing the Knicks, I think, need to work on. They need to get bigger, and maybe Mitchell Robinson coming back will help them, because right now at times they look like they're getting overpowered with teams that have length and size at a lot of different spots on the floor.
You mentioned Naz Reid, the New Jersey native, season high 6 made threes. He didn't miss.
Nope.
He comes off the bench for 23 points. He goes 6 of 6 from downtown. That was a huge part of the Minnesota three-point shooting story.
Yeah, and, campaign helped him in that first half to get him back into the game. But Naz Reid is Sixth Man of the Year for a reason. He's a stretch five that can really shoot the basketball, but that's not all he does. He's a very cerebral basketball player. And I think the reason why they thought they could let Karl Anthony Towns, just a superstar, go is because they have that much faith in Naz Reid and what he could do to kind of plug some of the holes that Karl Anthony Towns, the things that he did. So they made that move thinking it's going to open up a lot for Naz Reid. We get a guy like Julius Randle who complements Gobert perfectly. And this team is struggling a little bit at 21-18. They're trying to figure things out. But you can see when the pieces come together, this team is a pretty formidable team, and they're prepping to be an impact team in the playoffs come playoff time. 99
points for the Knicks. Is that mainly because of no Cat tonight, you think?
Well, the fourth quarter, they just ran out of gas.
They only scored the Knicks 40 points in the whole second half.
Yeah, I know. No energy. It seemed like they just expended so much energy to keep themselves in the game in the third quarter that the fourth quarter, when the Timberwolves were fresh, when they had fresh bodies coming in, knocking down threes, the Knicks just didn't have the emotional juice and adrenaline to keep themselves in this game.
All right, Wally, Monica McNutt helped call the game on ESPN New York, the radio broadcast. Monica, what do you think from your vantage point?
Woo, that's a really good defense, huh? I thought it was hard for the Knicks to find mismatches and easy baskets. The three-point shooting, the parade to the three-point line for both teams in the first half was a lot of fun, but I think you saw the defense intensify in the second half, particularly in that fourth quarter when Anthony Edwards is leaning into the assignment of guarding Jalen Brunson because he's such an elite competitor on both sides of the floor. So that defense is 7th in defensive rating. It is 3rd in defensive rating if you isolate December, the month that they're coming off of, and they had just length at every position outside of the couple of times that Mikal Bridges was able to post up Mike Conley.
Monica, I was watching the game from in the building. It was an electric atmosphere. Yeah. I thought there was some more juice in the building. How are these teams coming in here and just getting these wins when the fans are so ready to get wins for the Knicks at home?
Well, Wally, what did you enjoy more, playing in front of the home crowd or silencing the road team?
That's a great question. I love silencing the road team.
And so I think
nothing like silencing the road crowd.
I think that's what's happening because the Knicks fans are so into it. And then in the first half, they're up and down, and they're living on threes and living on great passes and cheering on campaign and reacting to Julius Randle's corner three air ball. It is energy in here, right? And so you said it yourself. And Anthony Edwards, I'm certainly would say it, and that would trickle down to the rest of that T-Wolves roster. To silence them, they are playing with that level of energy and intensity. I also think that just frankly, in terms of their privilege of sharing the load, they can go pretty deep into their roster as far as putting guys on the floor. And we know that this Knicks squad is playing the most minutes. The starting five is playing the most minutes in the league.
Monica, we've emphasized, and Wally's been talking a lot about the Knicks' defense against the three. What do you think is happening in that part of the game for the Knicks?
The adage is penetrating kick, right? It's sinking on their initial penetration, then you just have to scramble. And for a team, again, those guys, top 10 in the league in terms of three-point shooting. They are long athletes. They shoot the ball well. So even your contest, if you get out to Naz Reid at the three-point line, you got to be in his face because he's already 6'10", 6'9", and so it's going to be a high release point. In general, though, I just think the Knicks, they have to collapse because a rim protector similar to what Mitchell Robinson hopefully will bring when he's healthy has not yet emerged. So it's a lot of pressure when there's penetration for this team to get back out to shooters.
All right, Monica, have a great weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday afternoon when the Knicks play host to the Atlanta Hawks.
Sounds good.
All right, when we come back, post-game comments from Tom Thibodeau, his 67th birthday today. Not the greatest way to celebrate for sure, as his Knicks lose by 17. Stay with us.
The Knicks post-game show is presented by Audi. Visit your Tri-State Audi dealer today.
Knicks scored only 99 points. They scored only 21 points in the first quarter, 19 in the third, and 21 in the fourth. Back now from the Corner 3, presented by Michelob Ultra Superior Light Beer. So, the Knicks have the weekend off. They'll be in action on Martin Luther King Day on Monday afternoon. Trae Young and the Hawks are in town. Pregame at 2:30, game at 3. And then on Tuesday night, the Knicks are at the Nets for their second road game of the month and their last road game of the month. Time now to listen to the post-game comments from Knicks coach Tom Thibodeau, as always, presented by Chase.
Yeah, just, we didn't cover the line the way we needed to, got beat off the dribble. So, didn't start the game the way we needed to. We gave up second shots. So, the three-point line and the rebounding probably hurt us. Edwards is a tough cover. But you have to do more than one thing. We have to have the ability to get in and get out, and have an awareness with Nasri, got open, and, if we leave him open, you're gonna make those.
On the season, opponent 3-point percentage, you guys think are bottom 5. What's not happening here that should be happening?
Well, and there's a couple ways to look at it. I think we're pretty high in what we allow. Now, we didn't cover it tonight. Like, we gave up 40. But the best way to guard the line is to prevent the threes, and that's where we're pretty good. But, we do have to challenge those. We have to have the ability to get in and get out. So, and then have an awareness if a guy gets hot, right, we got to make sure that we're there on the catch, to take his airspace away. So, we got to read the game and, make guys do things, one or two things that they really don't want to do.
So you feel good about the scheme and
Well, you look at when you measure what you're doing, right? So there's the attempts, right? It's what they make, right? And then the percentage. Those are three components, and then also you're looking at what you're doing, so do you have the advantage or do they have the advantage, right? So it's pretty much been a wash, all year. And so we'd like to have the advantage. And, one of the things is you have to generate your threes. And that's, we got to play fast in order to do that. And we got to make the right reads. I think sometimes, I want deep paint penetration, and then I want a good decision when we're in there. Like if there's size or multiple people on the ball in that area, the play is spray it, and if you have a good angle to the basket, then take it. The game tells you what to do. So, we fell short tonight, and, we got to bounce back. So nothing changes in terms of, how we approach things other than we got to learn from what happened. And then make the necessary corrections, and then prepare for Atlanta. That's, that's what we have to do.
I'm sorry, did the depths of Nas' threes make it more difficult? I mean, they were able to penetrate, kick out, but some of his threes were really, really deep.
Yeah, but that's also his strength, So, and then, read like what are they trying to? Where's the ball? Is it flat or is it penetrating to the basket? Is it behind the basket? And then, are we starting our recovery as the ball's being picked up? So like you have to move on the flight of the ball. So on the catch, you're there, and are we providing a stunt to knock the guy back a step or take him out of rhythm a little bit? So it's multiple effort, but it's people working together. And was our ball pressure correct? And as the ball was being picked up and going out, because getting a hang time on that pass is important as well. Yeah, just, it's day to day. It's, so, when he's ready to go, he's ready to go. So, he'll give it a shot tomorrow, see where he is, and we'll go from there.
With Edwards, I think out of rhythm, and then
He's very, very aggressive, throughout, and he's, the one thing is his volume of threes has gone way up this year, so I knew he would keep shooting, and he made a number of good plays as well. But that's, he's a tough cover, and you need all five, working together, and you got to try to make them work, and that's probably the biggest thing is just to make him work for. He's going to get some, but you got to make him work for those points, and that requires everyone working together. And and Gobert does a good job of putting pressure on the rim, and then Julius was really at the 5, and Nas was at the 4, so that's a different look also. And then defensively they're very good because when you're looking at Gobert and the Nas and the McDaniels, it's a very long front line. So you got to make your rim reads are critical.
Julius looked like kind of what you preached a couple times. He got in the lane and kicked out, sprayed it out.
Yeah, that's what he does. He's he's gonna force the defense to collapse, and you got to read, and he made a number of good plays.
what's the update on Hart?
Pardon?
Josh is
I haven't heard from medical yet. No.
defensive. Talk about moving on the flight of the ball a lot.
Yeah.
How do you get the team to do that better? Because it seems like rotating guys when the rotation guys end up.
Yeah, well, it's twofold. It's containment of the dribble penetration, and often, there's so many different aspects of defensive transition, individual defense, and then your shell. And your shell really applies to everything. So that's what I'm saying. When you're guarding the ball, there needs to be communication. And you can't get beat with a penetrating drive on the first dribble. So, and maybe our physicality could have been better there. And so that's a big part of it. And then, are we sort of caught in between? So you want to be in already. So when the ball is being picked up, you're starting your recovery. So, a step makes a big difference.
What do you think of what Cam gave you guys?
Yeah, big lift. I thought Precious gave us good minutes, but I thought Cam was really good and gave us a big spark because we were down when he went in, and that gave us life, and just played with a lot of energy.
Welcome back. Martin Luther King Day, the traditional Knicks matinee, Monday, 2:30 pregame, game at 3 as the Knicks host Trae Young. And the
Bring it on.
Hawks. Last time here, of course, Trae's rolling dice on the logo there after the Hawks
forget
beat the
that one.
Knicks in the NBA tournament there, the in-season
Cup
tournament.
semifinals.
Any impact?
Yeah. I think you got to remember that if you're a Knicks player in that locker room. I think that's going to be brought up. You're looking for anything right now to get this team galvanized and motivate this team. This Atlanta Hawks team they can score. They absolutely lit up the Knicks in the last meeting, that game, which was an important game in the quarterfinals of the NBA Cup. So the Knicks will remember that, and they need to find a way to come out with some grit and become a little bit more uncomfortable to play against. Because right now, teams are just coming into the Garden. They're lighting it up. The Knicks' defensive numbers are just plummeting, and they need to put a stop to this madness because right now the Knicks are not hard to play against.
You looked it up. The Knicks are now 25th in three-point defense.
Yep.
And obviously...
Percentage.
Right.
Teams shoot a good percentage, 37.3% as teams when they come in to play against the Knicks. The Knicks are giving up a lot of good looks from that line.
All right, Wally, we've been working tonight thinking about George Kalinsky, who died yesterday. He's been the official photographer at Madison Square Garden since 1966, capturing all the great history of the world's most famous arena with his artistic brilliance. George Kalinsky passing away at the age of 88. right, so Monday the Knicks host the Hawks. Tuesday's a national TV game at the Nets. And then the Knicks actually have 3 days off. Might be a good period of time to rest there a little bit. The Kings in here Saturday. Here's Alan Hahn postgame with Jalen Brunson.
Jalen, this was a very competitive game for 3 quarters. What happened early in that fourth quarter?
They got on transition, and obviously we weren't able to score the ball the way we wanted to. But I think most importantly, they set the tone from the jump by getting second chance points and the offensive rebounds and just the physicality. So just credit them for bringing the physicality to the game and put us on our heels. But we didn't sustain it for 4 quarters.
When a team is that hot from 3, does it become a challenge to just try to match that and try to break even from the 3-point line against a team like that?
Yeah, I mean, I say this all the time. Like, once a player or a team gets confidence, it's kind of hard to slow them down at that point, especially at this level. So we got to establish a physicality and our presence early. And, yeah, it's on us.
Something you're seeing as a common denominator with the 3-point defense?
I mean, we got to be better at what we do.
Brunson had 26. His good pal Dante DiVincenzo unable to play because of a bad toe, but DiVincenzo's Timberwolves won tonight by 17. Wrapping up the postgame show, we'll see you on Monday. Knicks and the Hawks pregame at 2:30, game at 3. You can also stream our coverage on MSG Plus. Now on the Gotham Sports app. Want more than just a post-game show? Link your eligible TV subscription to stream Knicks games free or subscribe today in the Gotham Sports app. Just go to gothamsports.tv to learn more.